Welcome to Providence Academy in Plymouth for high school football week number 7, as tonight the Lions welcome the St. Paul Highland Park Scots over here for a battle in the Twin Cities sub-district. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox along with Joe Basil, and Providence, a 4-school co-op along with Maranatha, Heritage, and West Lutheran, and what a season they're having. They have allowed just 6 points up to this time right now. Great season. They are looking forward to trying to maybe close out the regular season, but also really looking forward to the playoffs.
Fantastic, Jay, and what a setting here. What a beautiful setting here. And I think they've given up 6 points total so far this year, and when you give up 6, you're going to win a lot of ball games.
Yeah, a lot of shutouts for their defense, and they have just really kind of put things all together and really mowed through most of their opponents so far. Meanwhile, for Highland Park, it's been a difficult year, no doubt about it. 0-6 coming in. Some of their better players were out with injuries earlier in the season. A couple of them they've got back. A couple of them have been on the shelf still. They're really running into a tough schedule, and they're good competitive kids, but they just had trouble winning this year.
Yeah, we had some time to talk with Coach Zychek, and yeah, it's one of those tough deals. They have a very tough schedule that they have to face, and there was a time, as you said, they're running out of bodies. They got a few of them back tonight, and he thinks they'll be at least competitive for a while this evening.
Providence got a big one coming up next week against Fridley, but that's the challenge. When you've been a team that's run through your opponents pretty easily, you have to try and keep their attention. And I thought it was interesting that Coach Colin Rooney, in his first year here, said he was actually kind of glad that they stumbled a little bit against St. Paul Johnson last week. They turned the ball over more than they'd like. They still ended up winning the game, but he thought that was good for their kids to see a little adversity.
Very much so, very much so. And, you know, the tough schedule, typically makes you tournament tough, and we're soon to be getting into that part of the season. And a lot of times when teams are rolling right along, smooth rolling or whatever, and they face adversity, sometimes you don't know how they're going to react.
Talk about a key player to look at for Providence tonight. Their defense is so good that it's hard to pick out one, so we're going to talk about their great running back. Jeff Vecchio is that kind of guy that do a variety of things for you, and I think when they get in some of these tough playoff games, you get a 3rd and 2 or a 4th and 1, it's a guy you really like to have in your backfield.
Yeah, very much so. And he's a slasher. I noticed he's got a running style. Well, Colin Rooney actually said it, a running style akin to Eddie George, and that's not a bad way to run the football.
Lions are in a very tough section. They were moved up to Class 4A this year. They found it out over the summer, actually, the addition of the West Lutheran to the co-op, and then kind of pushed them over the limit. So they know they've got a really, really tough section. So they're challenging themselves to be sharp no matter what opponent they're playing. Highland Park certainly a big underdog tonight. Providence looking to just execute their game plan no matter who it is on the other side.
Their section is so tough, Colin told us, that they could go through this season spotless, 8-0, and still be a 3 seed.
All right, we've got football coming up next year. A cool evening, but the wind has died down here. Should be a great night for football at St. Paul Highland Park and Providence Academy next here on CCX.
Local Vote 2018 focuses on the candidates that make key decisions close to home. As you decide how to vote for people who will represent you on your city council, on your school board, and in the state legislature, hear from the candidates themselves first. Whether it's a candidate statement on CCX News, local political forum, or election night coverage, you can find it all on CCX Media and ccxmedia.org.
And welcome back here to Providence Academy as the crowd meeting the starting lineups for these two teams this evening. And Highland Park, you know, their coaches were saying they played actually a pretty decent game last week and were hanging with St. Croix Lutheran for quite a while. Ended up losing 30-12, but the one thing that they both, that the team talked about is that the kids have still stayed buying into things. They've still stayed interested. They're good kids, and that, you know, that's all part of it too down the stretch of a regular season. You want to look in their eyes and see that they haven't given up, and that's something that they feel pretty good about, I think, in their program.
Yeah, Coach Zychek underscored the fact that good kids are playing hard, giving effort. Just sometimes it becomes a numbers game, and they were hurt early by injuries. They're getting a few people back now, but he thinks they'll play hard tonight.
Yeah, and he mentioned that a couple of younger guys that he feels like, kind of being force-fed into varsity maybe a little sooner than they're ready for, but it's just the situation that they face. And I said, not that it's any consolation, but they're not alone in that. There's a lot of teams that are, go through that same type of thing where you really don't want to put a 9th grader out there, or maybe even a 10th grader, but sometimes that's the hand you're dealt. And he said, for the most part, the guys have been handling that part pretty well. And meanwhile, for Providence, they talked about just making sure that you're executing your stuff every week. They've had a few games that have been pretty lopsided. There's no question about it. And you want to avoid losing your edge, losing your sharpness, and the coaches have really worked with the team to try and make sure that happens. I think one way to do that is defensively, when they have that shutout string that they have. You can keep their attention to, let's make sure we keep that 0 on the board at all times. Exactly,
and that becomes a pride thing. When let's say the number 2 defense is in there, they're getting urged on by the number 1 defense. Let's still pitch that shutout and keep it going.
There is a look at Dave Zychek, the Highland Park coach, and he was, we were talking a little bit about, the switch to the district scheduling, and he said, to be perfectly honest, it hasn't done his program any favors. They've been going up against some pretty strong competition, stronger than maybe what they'd been used to, and kind of getting banged up a little bit, and then it becomes, numbers too. Players maybe don't come out as often for a team that's not winning and all that kind of thing too. So it's, a situation where they're battling. They're definitely battling, but they know it's been a little uphill. And there's Colin Rooney, who, Joe, I found out tonight, you've known for quite a while.
I have. When I was fortunate enough to coach at St. Thomas Academy for 10 years and coach QBs and receivers over there. And then when I left to go to Edina, Colin came over there for a while, and then also I was at Edina, and he kind of followed me up at Edina as well. So I kid him once in a while that he's following me around, but got a great season going, and good to see that he got a head coaching job.
J.U. Mensah, number 2, and Kane Russell, number 41, back deep to receive for Highland Park. And J.U. Mensah, his coach Zychek said, all things considered right now, probably been our best player overall this season. And they're hoping to get either he or Russell, who's their top running back, a touch early on, and see if they can't get the game started in style with a return. Steph Sawtell will kick it off here for Providence, as you see the numbers, and obviously kind of a disparity there, and that's not a misprint. The 1.0 per game. Providence has allowed just 1 touchdown on a snap that went over the punter's head against their second team D, and he picked it up and made a big circle and ran down the field and scored. So they are pretty proud about that string of 5 zeros, and it was almost 6. Sawtell putting his foot to it, and it will be Kane Russell taking it out of about the 15. There's a gap up the middle. Russell into Providence territory, and then he is tracked down from behind and brought down there by Christian Davis, but he's all the way down to the 20-yard line. 65-yard return to start the game for Kane Russell. Boy, just what the doctor ordered when you're an underdog.
Exactly. And that may or may not get Providence's attention. I suspect it will, but it certainly is just a great positive and a great rush of momentum for Highland Park.
Joe Mather, a senior, is the quarterback here for Highland Park. He was injured earlier, but back in there now. Quick little toss. Russell, no rest for the weary after that kick return, and he is going to be stopped for a loss as Lions flowing to the football very well that time. 3 guys getting there all around the same time and able to drag him down to lose about 2 on the play.
Yeah, they were trying to turn the DN for Providence in, and but he had some help by he was able to defeat that block, and then the linebacker scraped down and took care of Russell. Going empty here, Jay.
2nd and 12, 4 receivers to the left, and then single receiver is Mensa coming to the right. He's going to take the handoff. He's forced back and brought down a little short of the line. Ben Lechtenberg, first of all, made him run wider than he wanted to, and then brought him down from behind him. They'll lose another yard or so on that play. There's a look at the offensive starters for Coach Zychek and crew, and he was talking about that they had been a spread team for a long time, and then came and installed the wing T, and he said it was just kind of too much to absorb, and they were kind of gone back a little bit, that they were having some trouble getting it all in.
Right, and obviously the first 2 plays, I would say more of a spread offense. At least that's what we've seen so far.
And movement from the defense.
There's easy 5, I think, for Highland Park.
Like Preston Sawicki got a little anxious there to get a good start.
The one thing I like about Highland Park so far, Jay, is they're getting the ball into the hands of their playmakers, and so far the blocking's been a little bit of a challenge. They haven't been able to get their blocks, but they got the right guys carrying the ball. That's for sure.
Providence basically a new offensive staff this year, but the defensive staff pretty much intact, and obviously they've had a great year. So now 3rd down and 8 after the 5-yard mark off. Handoff goes to Russell left side, and that one is going to go nowhere. It'll be a short loss on the play and bring up a 4th down, but obviously in this spot on the field, easy decision to go for it. Here as you look at the defensive starters, and what a unit this has been this season, and should note they are without one of their better defensive players, Mark Richardson. We'll talk about him more later too, but boy, they've got some talent kind of spread throughout too. Jaden Morton's a good one, Lacombe's a good one, and a very, very good secondary as well. 4th down and 9 here for the Scots after the long kickoff return. Put them in great field position, but now in danger of squandering that here. Couple fakes and spinning out is Mather. He'll throw, and it is incomplete. Mensa not able to hang on, was not going to have enough for the 1st down anyway, so it will be Providence football as the first pass attempt of the game goes for an incompletion. Looked like pretty catchable ball here, but again, not going to have enough for the 1st down either way.
Right. Tried a little bit of a boot action there, but you know, the quarterback Mather put it right where you're supposed to put it, but JU just couldn't hang on.
So it'll be Max Anderson leading the Lions offense out as they will start on their 19-yard line, 1st and 10. They've definitely done a lot of good things this year. Maybe not the eye-popping numbers that the defense has put up, but they've been good. And here's Ekior taking the handoff. He's going to bounce it out to the left, cuts it up hard, and Ekior way out near midfield before Mensa drags him down at the 49. So a 30-yard gain for Ekior there, and a 1st down.
Providence comes out in basically a pro-I formation, and actually it started out, looked like a counter play, and then he just bounced it out to the left, and you saw the result.
So they'll spot it right at midfield, so give him 31 on that carry, and he's had a good season so far here, and looking to continue it here tonight in week number 7. So at midfield, 1st down for Anderson and Providence. He's a lefty throwing out in the flat, and it is complete. Good job by Russell to quickly wrap up the receiver, Josh Elan, but it'll be a decent pickup of 5, maybe 6 yards, 6-yard gain.
Stayed in the pro-I that time, Jay, and just basically a little hitch, and nice 5-6 yard gain on the hitch.
Yeah, and obviously you've got the possibility of breaking a tackle, but even if you don't, you still get a nice positive gain on that 1st down play.
Exactly. Teams will take 4 and 5 yards all day long.
2nd and 4 now for the Lions. Anderson going with the toss. Ekior, some great blocks to seal. Well, we have a flag down on the play, I think. No, maybe not. Thought I saw one come out, but
I don't.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, just basic your basic toss sweep. And what speed this kid has, you can tell he runs hard, but as we said in the pregame, got some pretty good breakaway speed too, I think.
I think it was a uniform piece that came out that I thought was a penalty flag. So instead, it's a first down for the Lions, another nice gainer, and they'll have it 1st and 10 on the 24-yard line. Coming up under center this time is Anderson. He's going to go with the toss to Vecchio. Cuts it up, and he'll be near another first down as he's brought down around the 15. I think he might be just short, but still, if you're going to run a toss sweep and get that kind of yardage on a regular basis, as you look at the starters from Highland Park, knocked back on their heels a little bit so far here as they've given up a drive. It started at the 19-yard line and now down to the 16 of the Scots. It'll be about an 8-yard pickup for Vecchio, so call it 2nd down and 2. First possession of the game for Providence. Highland Park had a long kick return, but then turned the ball over on downs deep in Providence territory. Anderson throwing, and Julian Calvin not able to haul it in. Looked like it was a little bit behind him, although probably still catchable. Yep. It'll fall incomplete.
Yep, I want to go back to that play before, Jay, that basically it was the same toss sweep. They started out in the gun, went under center, and then just shifted into a kind of a strong side formation and ran the same toss sweep that they ran the play before with Vecchio. Providence Academy will shift, not as much motion, but one of their coaches told me early in the week a lot of shifting.
And we'll see that here as they shift into the eye here. 3rd and 2. Vecchio takes the handoff. Big hole to run through there. Nice tackle by Kevin Miller for the Scots, but not until he gets the first down inside the 10-yard line as you get a look at the Providence lineup. So it's going to be 1st down and goal to go now for Providence.
This is kind of your basic grinded out drive, isn't it, Jay? I mean, they've thrown a couple of passes, but primarily it's been Vecchio and just grinding it out.
Boy, and he's had so much room to work with on the edge, too. They've really done a nice job sealing off Highland Park. Back to Vecchio. Miller stands him up and then gets some help to come as well. So that was probably one of the better defensive showings that the Scots have had, as Miller and Vecchio met in the hole there, and not much of a gain, if any. No, about nothing for Providence on that one. 2nd down, goal to go coming up now for the Lions.
Providence tried a little O-line technique that time on the left side called a pin and pull technique, where the tackle goes in, the guard comes out and pulls, but Highland did a good job of stuffing it.
Long count here. Anderson looking to throw into the flat. Caught by Cavan, and he'll fight his way in for the touchdown. They tried a similar play a moment ago and didn't connect. This time he hauls it in and not only makes the catch, but then fights his way in for the touchdown as well. And Providence finishing off an 81-yard drive with that touchdown strike of 9 yards to Julian Cavan.
And I thought Max Anderson, even when he threw the one that the young man dropped earlier on this one, he's got some zip on the ball, Jay. He gets it out there in good shape and put it in a good spot. And 6 points.
Sawtell on to attempt the extra point here for Providence. Left-footed kicker. Oh, snap bobbled a little bit. He still gets it up, though, and bangs it through. Just a little bit of a trouble with the handle by Harrison Vetter, who's the backup quarterback. Another look at the touchdown.
Puts a lot of pressure on the corner out there, one-on-one. I think you talked about it a little bit, Jay. And that's a tough deal, and that's just a tackle you have to make. Otherwise, in this case, it's 6 points.
Well, and Coach Rooney, when he came in, he said, I like to throw the ball around. I think we're probably going to throw the ball more than what they're used to at Providence. And in some of the games, they just haven't needed it, is part of it, too. They've been able to run so effectively, and you build a lead, and you just kind of work the clock a little bit, too. So, but I do think they feel that they have good balance, that they do, passing and running are both strengths, not just, well, that's what we do when the down and distance dictates it. They feel good about either or at any time.
Right, exactly. And again, when I talked to one of their assistant coaches earlier in the week, Coach Skogman, and I asked him that very thing. It's about a 60-40 mix right now, run pass.
Sautel's kickoff, grabbed here by Mensa, and again a nice middle return here for Highland Park. Doesn't go nearly as far as the first one, but out to the 44. You'll definitely take that. And they get the football back here. Now, return-wise, they've done well. The offense didn't move it too much, though, after that first long kickoff return. We'll see what they can do with possession number 2.
Yeah, you had to believe that that time they were not going to kick it to Russell. But you know what? The other guy's just as dangerous, and it was a short kick to boot. So, but they're in good shape here. Highland Park's in good shape.
Working out of the pistol here, and handoff. Not a whole lot working that time as Ash Schultz-Perry taking the handoff.
Yeah, that was just pretty much big on big, straight handoff to Russell again, and as you said, not much there. And we talked about how stingy Providence's defense is anyway, so this will definitely be a challenge for the Scots.
Second and long 9, or I mean, they got about a half-yard last time anyway. Mather now stepping up, and he is blasted. Got hit by a couple of guys there as Lechtenberg got him, and then Gable came and finished him off with a physical pop there, and it'll be no gain on the play. Mather, I think, did the right thing though by tucking that one. The rush was starting to get there.
I agree, Jay. I agree. He didn't have a lot of time. He felt a little bit of the pressure. He stepped up, and the best thing a quarterback can do, especially if you're in doubt, you know what? Just tuck it, get a couple yards, or maybe none at all, and huddle up and let's go third down. Kind of in a I strong here, or I mean a spread strong formation.
Fakes the handoff to Mensa. Now Mather hit as he throws, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Mason for Providence, and he will return it down inside the 35 of Highland Park. So the first turnover of the game as Justin Mason was there, and the pressure definitely helped create this one as well.
Really did. Take a look at the replay here. Yeah, well, you know what? It looked like the receiver was kind of running his route, and he was a little deeper, short pass, and kind of lost his footing there. That didn't help.
Yeah, when you look at it again, you kind of see a little more, where he was throwing. At least the receiver had fallen down, and that never is a good situation. So Providence looking to capitalize on the turnover as they get it. They'll spot it on the 35 of Highland Park. Anderson, straight drop rush coming on him. His throw is incomplete. Oh, a flag will fly in as maybe just a little bit early on the attempt to break it up. There was Carter Owens who's going for Cavan, and it appeared that he came through his body a little bit, and that's, I think, going to be the call here. Yes, it is. PI against the defense.
Yep, a little bit. That time Providence went split back, and Max Anderson just dropped straight back and zipped it out here. It was close, but I think it was PI.
So it'll be first down at the 20-yard line now. It was close to being a good play both up front and in the back for Highland Park. They got a good rush, and Anderson took a hit right as he was throwing, and you like the aggressiveness for Owens to go for that ball.
Exactly.
But just came through the receiver a little bit.
Just a little bit too early. He was he was really in good shape too, body-wise.
So first down from the 20, handoff up the middle, and spilling forward there for another nice gainer is Ekior, as he was just tripped up after a sizable gain of about 7. Actually, not quite that much. Call it 6, and it'll be second down here for Providence. 4.5 to go here in the first quarter. Providence leading at 7-0 over Highland Park and looking for more after that interception.
Quarter's kind of moving right along here, Jay, especially with Providence's ground game. Although they've had some selective passing in there.
Oops, a little mix-up there. He tosses it back to Ekior, and breaking free, cutting back. And will be brought down a little bit shy of the 5-yard line. It'll be first down and goal to go, as this one was definitely a mix-up.
I think it definitely a busted play, I think, Jay, but look at that. I mean, when you can do that on a busted play, you're doing something right, I guess.
I think that's the ones in the film that the coaches will be talking about. Okay, we still got the first down. That doesn't mean you're off the hook for messing that up.
Exactly. Oh yeah, oh yeah. They'll get points deducted for that one for sure.
They'll spot it on the 7-yard line. I thought he'd gotten just a little bit farther, but I think he skidded the last yard or two. Handoff goes to Ekior again, reaching that ball down near the 2-yard line. Ja'Kai Mason was first to get there, but he kind of got drug along a little bit by Ekior, who's a pretty good-sized bag. I mean, even if you were talking 6A football, for a guy, 6'1", 205 is a pretty big kid to be carrying that football.
I think Ekior, judging from his expression coming back to the huddle, I think he thought he should have scored on that one himself. Just personally should have gutted that in there.
They'll go back to him again, and he will plow his way in for the touchdown as Ekior able to finish the drive with the touchdown run, and Providence extends the lead as just tucked in behind the left side of that offensive line and overpowered the Scots there.
Yeah, just straight ahead football. And one thing Providence obviously has at least shown us tonight, ground game is very solid, very senior laden team, and just really pounding it in there.
Good rush there, but Sawtell gets the kick up and through, and so with 3:04 to go here in the first quarter, our score becomes Providence 14 and Highland Park nothing. As you get another look, Ekior, he was met chest to chest, but he won that war as he runs over a tackler here and able to burrow his way in. That offensive line, obviously, as always, you talk a lot about the running back, but the O-line's doing the job too up front.
You bet, you bet. The one thing too so far about Providence Academy is, they may show some different formations and maybe some different shifts, but they're running somewhat the same game plan, the same playbook, and keeping it simple and doing what they do best so far.
See, Jeff has reached the end zone via rush 11 times so far this season. Now, here's one thing that hasn't gone super great for them tonight. The first 2 kick returns were good ones. The first one in particular went 65 yards. So they're see if they're going to make any adjustments or do anything a little bit different this time, because Highland Park has run middle return both times with good success.
Here comes Highland Park's best play so far, and we'll see if there's been, oh my goodness.
Going to do a little pop-up kick, and it's just caught and fallen on there as Highland Park's Tyrese Edwards just making the catch and downing it there. He could have fair caught that ball. He didn't, but he's still just realizing that I'm going to get hit pretty soon here. I'm just going to be sure-handed and make the catch, and they are at the 40. So they did do something different. So not a big return, but still good field position.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I think they were going for the pooch kick. I'm not sure they wanted it to be maybe that short, but wanted to keep it out of the hands of those two deep receivers.
From the 40, Mensah takes the handoff, and he is wrapped up in the backfield as the defense arriving in a big hurry. That was Taylor Meisner getting there and making that stop.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They're running the jet sweep again, Jay, and I'm not quite sure why the running back for Highland Park stopped. I'm not sure about that, but on jet, you got to keep burning. Really just keep the speed going.
Loss of 4 on that play. fakes the toss. Mather wants the screen back the other way, and finally it opens up. Now there's a flag down. Russell, a receiver, and you would expect this probably an offensive penalty based on where it was thrown in this play. They wanted to get the defense flowing to the left and then come back with a screen to the right. It took a little while to develop, though.
It did. It did, yeah. And it'd be interesting to see. I'm interested to see what this call is going to be, because typically with screens, you're allowed to let the big fellas downfield as long as you throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage. Now it's a hold, huh, Jay?
Yeah. And so Providence will accept the penalty. It wasn't a big game, but enough that you certainly don't hesitate to take that penalty. So push them back to the 20-yard line. They got 30 yards to go to get a first down. Now going backwards. Back in the empty formation again, Jay. Mather throwing it up deep down the left sideline and just off the fingertips of DeWitt Lemma, as he actually had a step, and I not very far from being a completion there. Well thrown ball. Not at all. Yeah, not at all. And Lemma also can play corner as well, and it looked like, he definitely had a step or two right there, and ball was right where you want it to be. Nice vertical route. Mason, who had the interception, was back in coverage, but he was beat up by a little bit there. Highland Park, those are the kind that, if they want to stay in this game, you really need to hit something big here and again, and that one could have been one right there. Mather coming back with it the other way for Mensa, and that is incomplete. A diving try by Kevin trying to pick that one off, and so it'll bring up a punting situation, and oh no, Mensa hobbled a little bit. Yeah, that's not good. Hopefully the young man Mensa can walk that one off or run that one off. Yeah, the D-back didn't go at his legs. He dove for the ball, but it ended up that he tripped over him. Yeah, they can ill afford to lose Mensa. Mather is the punter as well. He's going to do that running rugby style boot there, out toward midfield, and that's where it'll die at the 49-yard line. So about a 29-yard punt, no return. Providence gets it in the Highland Park territory here. First and 10 from the Scots' 49-yard line with 1:49 to play here in this opening quarter. Yeah, Mensa trying to come back in there, but I don't think it's going to work, at least for the moment. Yeah, the way it almost looks like he's got the old-fashioned, he's holding his thigh pad, Jay, almost the old-fashioned kind of Charlie horse kind of thing going on there. Anderson getting good protection, throwing deep down the left sideline, and it is complete for the touchdown. Christian Davis will haul it in, a 49-yard strike for the Lions. And they put their third touchdown on the board of the first quarter. Well, they sure didn't waste any time. A beautiful ball, just a beautiful ball. And when I looked at the Highland Park defense, they're really putting the corner in again in kind of a tough spot, one-on-one. 25 was definitely beat by at least one or two steps. So Sawtell on to attempt the extra point here. Providence putting points on the board in a hurry. It's been a little more methodical than the previous, but that time a one-play strike. The snap dribbled back there, and that one is going to be snuffed out as Lemma gets there and tackles Vetter, the holder. So no good on this third extra point try, but it stays 20-0. Providence, 1:41 to go. Another look, great protection, good route. He had to wait for the ball just a touch, but he had about 2-3 yards on the DB Lemma there. Yeah, he did. Or Owens, excuse me. Yeah, and you're right to point out too, Jay. I mean, vertical routes like that, 9 routes like that, do take a bit more time, and he was totally clean. Great pass protection there. So Providence building the lead up to 20-0 now. And Highland Park will get the football back. Look at the fans enjoying this one here.
One of the things that Coach Skoglund told me earlier this week is Coach Rooney tries to get his twos, his backups, on special teams to give them that requisite experience, and so far it's been working out. Whether they stick with it during the playoffs, who knows? But it's a great way for his twos to get that field experience.
And I think we have a timeout for the trainer to head across to the Highland Park. Yeah, he's going to go tend to
Mensa possibly.
Yeah, I would think. Sautel's going to kick it on the ground, and once again it's fielded and just falling down there as Edwards. And so Highland Park again will have excellent field position out at about the 41. Here's a look at Mensa. He was the intended receiver on a pass, and you see just, didn't really see a lot. He just kind of fell awkwardly as he tried to go over the top and avoid Kevin there. But he was definitely hobbling as soon as he got up.
And holding that left thigh again.
So from the 40-yard line, hard count there, and he might have gotten it done as the Lions definitely jumped a little bit.
Yep, I think he drew him off sides again, Jay, second time tonight. And again, that's one of those things that, they'll definitely have to, in looking at their chances for playoffs down the road, there's a couple things they're going to need to clean up. They're gonna have to clean up that kickoff, I believe, a little bit too. They can't be always kicking it and giving the other team the ball at the 40.
1st and 5 now. Russell takes the handoff and not much doing. Maybe a yard before he's driven back, but met by a wall of Providence players. Preston Sawicki, I think, first there. No gain on the play. So 2nd down and 4. I guess I'll give him a slight gain, so call it a yard gain. 2nd and 4 now for the Scots as we tick down toward a minute to go in this opening quarter. Providence, I guess not unexpectedly, kind of dominating 20-0. They are 6-0 and a top 10 team coming in, and Highland Park has been 0-6. Handoff going on the sweep here to Schultz Perry. A flag down on the play as he's brought down by Daniels.
The one thing you could see, and I'm not sure which way the penalty is going to go here, Jay, but the one thing you can definitely see about Providence, their linebacking core, very fast to the edge, very fast to the outside. 51 didn't make the tackle, but he sure made the running back kind of alter his path a little bit, and made it easier for the guys cleaning it up.
I'm not so sure if we didn't have more than one penalty, because the first discussion was with the officials here on the near side, but the flag was clearly thrown up top.
We haven't seen a signal yet, have we, Jerry?
No, and he's making verbal illegal formation on the Scots. They did not have enough men on the line of scrimmage, so that's the flag we'll see.
The young man that, the young man that came flying to the sidelines that I was talking about, that was Jacob Gable, number 51, Jay. Really showed great speed.
Mather throwing complete and wrapped up and driven back. Lemma, he was trying to make a move, but he looked around and there were guys in blue just kind of breaking down and surrounding him there.
He was, and I give him credit. He was really trying to get going north-south. I think he sensed he was really close to the first down, which he was, and now they got probably their best possibility tonight to pick up a first down. Their best opportunity.
Yep, 3rd down and a yard here for the Scots. You go hard count, maybe? No, it's dropped by Mather and recovered by Providence. So he was going with the sneak and didn't come up clean with the ball, and the recovery made by Jack Healy for Providence. So the Scots turn it over right near midfield. 1 second left in the quarter. There you see it's definitely on the ground very early in the play. Yeah. And Healy gets there.
Worst possible time to have a bad exchange, of course, and from that angle, a little bit tough to see. But you know, as a quarterback coach, I always the quarterback has to take responsibility for that. We don't talk about the center. That's the QB's deal all the way.
First down from midfield should be the last play of the quarter, barring a penalty here. They will hand off up the middle, and Vecchio bouncing off a tackle and
still hasn't gone down.
Seemingly kind of a quick whistle there. It didn't really seem like he was stopped, but the whistle does sound. We have reached the end of one quarter here tonight in Plymouth. Our score, Providence Academy 20, St. Paul Highland Park 0. The second quarter coming up next here on CCX.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Welcome back. Great October moon shot there as we come into second quarter play here at Providence Academy. Providence leading at 20-0 over Highland Park, and it'll be second down and 9 for the Lions as we head into quarter number 2 here. And Joe, they've been kind of as advertised so far here. They've made some great defensive stops. They've got a couple of turnovers forced now, and the offenses look good, throwing the ball, running the ball. They're doing what they should be here so far in this first quarter.
They really have. They really have. And Highland Park has tried to probe inside and also, you know, run the edges a little bit, and there's just not much there.
Second and 9 for Anderson and the Providence offense. Throwing out into the flat, and it is complete as he hits Matt Edwards, and that'll be enough for a first down for Providence as he's inside the 40 to about the 38.
Yeah, just a little pitch and catch. Just a little pitch and catch out of the backfield, and doesn't get too much easier than that.
So spotted on the Highland Park 38 now, first down for the Lions.
Got a bunch of trips out here, Jay, to the near side.
Gonna hand it off to Vecchio up the middle, and that time driven back. Highland Park, after kind of getting pushed around a bit on some of those earlier drives, getting a couple of pretty decent stops here early in the second quarter, as looked like most of that one came from Colin Duquette. Good-sized junior lineman there. So second down and 9. Mason in the backfield now. And in front of that eye, in front of Vecchio. Anderson dropping the throw, rush coming from the edge, and it'll fall incomplete as he looked for Josh Elam.
That might have been one of the best times in terms of pressure from Highland Park, and I think he felt it a little bit. Vecchio tried to get a block as a running back, but the guy got around the edge a little bit.
He did get a pretty good piece of him, but definitely I think his presence was there. Travion Walker was coming.
Absolutely.
And of course Anderson is a left-hand quarterback. That's his blind side a little bit there too. So
yeah, anytime you give a good quarterback time, he's going to hurt you. They put a little pressure on him that time.
Third down and 9. Anderson steps up, throws for Cavan down the sideline, comes back, catches it, and now is going to make his way into the end zone for the touchdown. 38-yard strike. It was underthrown, but he could see the ball. The defender couldn't, and he goes back to get it for his second TD of the night.
Yeah, and Kevin makes that kind of classic adjustment, Jay, on this you know, somewhat of a rainbow ball here, but he put it out there and made the adjustment and into the end zone.
You know, it was funny. At first, I thought Lemma was probably going to commit pass interference, and as it turns out, he probably should have, really.
Maybe, yeah. Yep, that's right, maybe.
Sawtell on to attempt the extra point. The last time the snap was low. This time they'll get it all perfect, and he nails it. So the Lions lead grows to 27-0 with 10:36 to go here in quarter number 2. Kevin doing a nice job to come back and meet that one. This is where the receiver really makes the quarterback look good, because this pass is underthrown. He's just kind of putting it up there saying, I trust my guy to go get it. And then Highland Park didn't get back and make the tackle either, as Kevin did a nice job once he hit the ground of kind of, you know, putting that foot in the turf and going hard up to the end zone.
And Lemma, who had played him tight all the way down the field, right at the last moment there, Jay, kind of got off his hip instead of kind of staying right on his hip. And as it turned out, that's where I think he got hurt.
So Sawtell will kick it off. As we said earlier, the first 2 returns were good for Highland Park. So since then, they've put it on the ground a little bit. Now we're going to kick it intermediate. And taken on a hop here by Russell. And this time much better coverage, and getting the first piece of him was Jacob Meisner there, and then they're able to finish him off. So the Scots won't have nearly as good a field position as they've had in most of their other offensive starts, although it's still certainly not bad. They'll be on the 30-yard line. They just have really struggled to get anything going. They had that one pass completion, but boy, looking in their their rushing chart, I've got -2, -1, 0, 0, -1, -4, and it's tough to get first downs when that's happening.
Really, really, really tough. The one thing that I saw in the last series, though, Mather, given a little bit of time, Jay, he spins the ball pretty nicely. And he's going to have some opportunities here.
Throwing this one up, and it is incomplete, as Lemma that time was the receiver, and he was trying to be the guy to go back and come back and meet it. Justin Mason out there.
Right, I think he was trying to reverse roles that time.
Yep.
And he almost made it work.
Yeah, Mason did a nice job recovering on that ball and got a piece of it. I think it looked like it, maybe very well would have been a catch if Mason didn't get his hand in there.
The key now, though, I think, Jay, the key now is it's so easy to maybe leave your game plan, so to speak, and just start throwing bombs. And here we go, okay.
Here's Russell, but he is ridden down from behind, as caught quickly by Lechtenberg. And that one will be a loss of about 2 or so.
I think one of the things you try to do if you're Highland Park is that little hitch pattern that they used before, where they were 9.5 yards, about a half yard away from the first down, is try to get your intermediate game maybe going a little bit, some crossing stuff. And
there is a holding call on the play, but it is declined, as they had stopped them for a loss anyway. So the holding penalty declined by Providence.
So it'll be 3rd and 10, Jay. Yeah, 3rd and 10. As I said, I think it's just too easy sometimes for teams, especially if they're on the wrong end of a 27-0 score, to just drop back and just start chucking the ball. And you got to really fight that, both as an offensive coordinator, head coach, and as a team, and maybe pick out a few things that you want to work on, and That's what you do.
So 3rd and a dozen now for Highland Park.
They're going empty again, Jay, so they got 5 receivers out there. We'll see what looks like Providence is kind of manning up.
Mather fakes the handoff, look out! And he is sacked as Elijah Krieg coming up and able to bury him.
I think Elijah came totally, we'll see it here, came in totally untouched after that little fake jet.
He almost shot too high there and able to get him down to the ground, but
I did see Mensah in that play though, Jay. So I think we got Mensah back in the game.
Mather is the punter. It's 4th and 20. And he's going to try and run it, and that certainly did not work. I don't know if that was the plan or he just thought there wasn't a chance to get the kick away, and Justin Mason makes the stop for Providence. So I don't know if it looked like Highland Park was trying to fool him, but it certainly didn't work, and the Lions will take over with great field position.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one either, Jay. I thought that first little juke, I thought, okay, now he's probably going to kick it, but he never did.
So the Lions will get it at the Highland Park 17-yard line, trying to build on a 27-0 lead. Vecchio takes the handoff, weaves his way through, and is down close to the 5-yard line. A nice job kind of picking his way through there, a patient run.
He is quite a horse, isn't he, Jay? I'm not sure. I'm not sure they've used anybody else tonight, have they? Have they handed the ball to anybody else yet this evening?
Not yet.
You know, as you get deeper into the playoffs, especially the bad weather starts coming in, and maybe you're playing on turf, maybe not. A guy like Vecchio, so valuable.
1st and goal now from the 6 here for Providence. Now we get our second runner, and in for the touchdown is Jacob Meisner for Providence, as his first touch becomes a touchdown. And the lead grows here to 33-0 for Providence.
All right, they decide to share the wealth a little bit here, and Meisner goes in virtually untouched on that.
Sawtell on to attempt the extra point, but got a flag down here, looks like. Illegal substitution on Highland Park.
Illegal substitution, Highland Park.
So they can move the ball half the distance here, or I suspect they'll still just go ahead and kick.
Yeah, and in a game like this, unless for some reason you just want to practice it. So far, don't need the 2-point play. Just let your kicker get some practice.
Sawtell gets it up in a hurry, and a good thing. They're getting some outside pressure. He's able to bang it through. And so with 8:54 to go in the second quarter, it is 34-0 Providence.
Yeah, Highland Park was overloading would have been the right side of the offense, and they do come hard. Highland Park comes hard on those extra points.
So a tough evening shaping up here for Dave Zaitchik's crew here, and he was talking about. He said, "We want to stay positive. You keep working and everything, but no doubt it's been tough. They've been a few opponents that have kind of overmatched them a little bit, and it just kind of adds up and stockpiles a little bit.
Yeah, and you know, there's not that this would have made a great deal of difference on the scoreboard, probably, Jay, but you know, that missed snap on the getting, you know, moving, at least moving the chains a little bit. Little plays like that can really hurt you.
Sawtell this time drilling it up the sideline, and good coverage there. Those are the type of kicks that, you know, are a little bit hard to return. I think that's probably more what they'd like to lean toward, and Lemma picked it up nicely, but really nowhere to go.
I agree. Squibs are hard. Squibs are tough. If you have a place kicker that can keep that ball in bounds, again, particularly as you move through the playoffs and you get maybe some inclement weather, sometime on grass, even on carpet, they can bounce funny.
And even when they're handled cleanly, there usually isn't much room to go anywhere, and that was a good example right there.
No, that's right.
From the 25, Mather dropping to throw. And incomplete. Making a bid to try and pick it off there for Providence was Daniels. Don't know if he for sure got a hand on it, but he certainly bothered that attempt.
Yes, he did.
There.
Yeah, it was bang bang, but that's a little bit more like the passing game I'm talking about, though, Jay. And even that was a deep hitch. I guess what I'm alluding to a little bit is there's nothing wrong with a 5 or 6 yard hitch at this point, and maybe get a couple of first downs.
So 2nd down and 10 for Highland Park. Mather again dropping to throw and looking over the middle, and that'll fall incomplete as he went for Schultz Perry, defended by Jaden Morton.
Yeah, actually the thinking on that was there were 2 clear out routes, and then Schultz Perry came on a crossing route, but the ball was just a little bit off the mark there. Schultz Perry, I'm sorry, Jay.
So a 3rd down and 10 now for Highland Park, and that becomes a danger a little bit too, even though, like you said, they're throwing shorter passes, but if you give the ball right back to them in a hurry, then it feels like your defense is going, hey, we were just out here for a long time.
Right, exactly.
Mather under pressure, hit as he throws, but what a strike. Right to Schultz Perry, and good for a first down out at the 44-yard line.
Yeah, that was I think your basic we call that going to the side pocket. That's against a cover 2 defense. You throw it over the corner and underneath the safety. It was a beautiful ball.
First down for Highland Park, and considering how much pressure he had in his face, that was an impressive throw.
Well, I like Mather so far. I like the way he spins the ball, and as I said, he'll stand right in there and throw the football under some pressure.
First down at the 44. Gonna hand it off to Schultz Perry. Cuts it up and into Providence territory with a nice run. Back-to-back good plays here for the Scots.
Yeah, they've been trying to. I think have run the jet at least 2 or 3 times this evening. Finally, they got the edge out here.
So a good block coming in, and to be honest, I was kind of impressed and glad that they didn't call it a penalty, because if you weren't watching it closely, it might have looked like he blocked him from behind, but I don't think he did.
Right. So 2 consecutive first down plays, huh, Jay? Moving the chains here, give the Scots a little bit of life here.
They're at the Providence 40 now. With that quick little toss right back to Schultz Perry. He's been a busy man on this drive, but not much doing there, and just had to turn and see if he could get something. Jack Healy tackles him for about a 1-yard loss.
Right. And I'm also looking, Jay, I don't believe that Providence has done a lot of wholesale substituting. I think pretty much their first line defense, their ones are still out there.
Yeah, I would think, probably at least till halftime. But, you know, I kind of asked Coach about that. You know, do you kind of have a game plan in mind? He said, no, it just depends more. And he said, offensively, I'm more willing to substitute. Our defensive guys, they want to keep those zeros on the board as long as they can. That'll fall incomplete as, again, pressure on.
Got a flag, though, Jay. I believe we got number 5 nudging the receiver. I believe that's what it was as he was coming across. Actually, number 5 looked back a little bit like, did you see my hand in the cookie jar there or not? I'm not sure.
Jaden Morton may perhaps be the guilty party here as they get the discussion. It is indeed a pass interference call against Providence, so it'll be another first down for Highland Park.
Again, I think what I like about this is they're throwing, instead of just going back and chucking it as we alluded to early, you know, they're trying to do some underneath things and utilize some of their team speed, because Providence definitely has some speed, and, you know, try to keep them off balance a little bit.
From the 27, Mather spinning out of there, and he will just get a couple yards as he tightrolled up the about 2-yard gain up the sideline there.
The one thing about, and I love the boot, I love the bootleg here, but the one thing is, as a quarterback, you have to be ready, because sometimes if that DN's not blocked, you got to get rid of the ball right away or really scoot quick.
Preston Sawicki was bearing down on him there, but he was able to get around the edge to at least pick up a couple, although Providence held their discipline pretty well there in terms of not getting out of position.
They did. Here's a bunch trips to the near side, Jay, and run the jet.
Schultz Perry, ooh, a nice move there. And he is met and knocked out at about the 20-yard line. He left one defender in his wake there. Yeah, he really. I don't think this one's going to be one to watch on defensive film right there. Whoop! Where'd he go?
Yeah, nice little shake and bake by Schultz Perry that time. And as you said, as you pointed out, they're starting to utilize Schultz Perry in the game plan a lot more on this drive, and it's paying dividends.
Yeah, 3rd down and 4 coming up here for Highland Park as he was knocked out of bounds at the 21-yard line. 6.5 to go in the second quarter. Providence Academy dominating, leading at 34-0. But Highland Park, by far their best drive of the game right here.
Highland Park going 3 by 1, Jay. 3 trips to the far side. Looked like he won. Oh, there we go.
Mather going to step up and run it, and he will have the first down to about the 12. Punished there, but still a nice gainer.
It looked like he wanted to come back to his, what we call the X receiver, the lone receiver down here, Jay. And but, you know, using good judgment. I didn't really see if the young man was covered or not, but hey, tuck it and picked up a first down.
Kind of looked like Mather was going to slide there, and then he just sort of slowed down, and he took a pretty good hit. And I'm thinking he's, you know, next time probably either does want to just slide or keep going a little more aggressively there, because he kind of just let himself be slammed down pretty hard.
He did. He was caught in that in-between area, which is not where you want to be.
So first down from the Providence 12. And we had 2 guys going at once there, but probably going to be on the right tacklers at tight end there for Highland Park.
Well, judging from number 58's reaction, it looks like it's going to go maybe against Highland Park, but.
Yep, marching back 5.
You know, this would not be the worst time in the whole wide world for, we call this the freeze play, for them to try to, because they did it successfully 2 times earlier in the game, Jay, to maybe get that 5 back real quick here.
Shovel it out to Russell. Good pursuit though, and he is punished. He's forced to turn back by Lechtenberg, and then the help arrived and they put him on the ground in a hurry as Gable getting out there. Elijah Krieg was also there.
Yeah, this defensive and linebacking crew, they can fly. Providence, they're going to be a handful down the road, that's for sure.
Meisner helping to punish him there as well, Taylor Meisner.
Well, let's see what they have for second in a bundle here. They're kind of going 2 by 2 here, Jay. Yep, empty actually.
Russell coming in motion. Mather looking over the middle, and it's intercepted. Mason gets another one. They try to rip the ball free, but he squeezes it tight, and the second interception of the night for Mr. Justin Mason. So third turnover for the Scots. Another look on this crossing route, thrown a little behind him. Mason really jumped the route.
Yes, he did. Yeah. Yeah, Mather threw it definitely short, and Mason was there to say thank you and gobble it up.
Oh, we did have a flag down too, a block in the back on the return against Providence. So the interception will stand, but he will not get all of that return yardage. So Providence will start back at their 10-yard line. 4:41 to go in this first half. The Lions leading it by a score of 34-0. And Highland Park's best drive ending with that pick right there.
You know, coming into this game, Jay, Hakeem Daniels for Providence had 5 picks so far this year, and Mason's starting to get closer to him.
From the 10 now, first down for Max Anderson and company as he hands it off to Ekior. I'm sorry, not Ekior this time. This is Keyshawn Johnson. Johnson will pick up about 5 on that one. New quarterback as well in here for Providence is Harrison Vetter taking over. Vetter handing it off this time to Dominic Lacombe. Lacombe out over the 30 and will have the first down for the Lions. Nice pickup of. Oh, do we have a flag down again though?
Yeah, I think it's coming back.
Yeah,
Jay.
not going to count.
You know, another thing Providence does is some of their linebackers also double as running backs, and that's just such an advantage.
All is a block in the back, it looks like, against the Lions. So push them back to about the 7. Bring up a 2nd and 13 now for Providence as Vetter
under center there.
And he goes with the toss to Lacombe and tripped up there. I think he was going to break through there, but Schultz Perry got him around the ankle.
Yep, nice tackle. He did look like he was going to maybe break clean there.
Bring up a 3rd down and 7 now for the Lions. 3:15 to go here in this first half. That's where you really want to see your second team guys, you know, keep the execution up if nothing else too. You don't want to turn the ball over.
Especially down here. Oh,
Vetter going to throw it, and incomplete as he looked up the sideline for Clarence Daniels. Pretty well covered, though, by Russell.
Right. Nice little boot action. Nice little boot action by Vetter, and I think he saw that Russell, was it Russell, number 8, Jay? Yeah, was covered and you know, did the right thing, threw the ball out of bounds. Sometimes that can be your best pass as a quarterback.
Davis is the punter for Providence. He is standing right about on his own goal line. So here's where you want to make sure to execute snap-wise too.
And Highland Park is coming after it, it looks like.
He just gets it out of there. It's a good kick. Russell will field it on a bounce at the midfield stripe and then just get forward as far as he can, about 5 yards. And we may have another flag perhaps on the play.
Flag comes in. Not sure, Jake. I didn't notice any blocking in the back, but possible face mask. I'm not sure.
I'm not so sure we have a penalty here, is there?
Okay. Maybe they'll pick it up. The white hats.
No, looks like there isn't.
Okay. Highland Park definitely going after, and you know, why not? Why not go after it?
Now we have a flag on this one. We were just one play early. Illegal snap, it looks like, was the call there. And we see coming in at quarterback, Nico Latkauskas for Highland Park.
Sophomore quarterback, get him a little action here before the half.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know if Mather, I mean, he was taking some punishment for sure.
Right.
If that had any impact, or if they're just, you know, wanting to get their second group in. Obviously the game is not particularly close at the moment, but usually the team that's behind doesn't necessarily make this change this early. Russell taking the handoff, and he is met and dropped as Hakim Daniels gets there and throws him down after a loss of a couple at least.
Mensa throws a nice block on Gable here, but there was just too much cavalry behind it, Jay. And yeah, they were able to take care of Russell. Mensa definitely stuck his nose in there, though.
Back to the Scots 48 now, 2nd and 17.
Sophomore quarterback at the controls here.
High snap, and he's in trouble, and down he goes. He kind of almost spun away from Krieg, but he'll probably get the sack there, or at least a half sack, as they finished him off back around the 40. And so they're going in the wrong direction at the moment here. Now 3rd and 25 coming up.
Elijah almost beat the ball back there, Jay, that time. I mean, he was on that sophomore quarterback quick.
Latkauskas looking to throw it on the left side and batted away by Mason. Again, it was there. Lemma reaching up for it, and Mason just gets his hand in there and swats it out of there.
You know, on that particular play, Jay, I was watching the Highland Park O-line against the Providence Academy D-line. They did a pretty nice job of giving the sophomore QB, and it almost resulted in a connection there.
So a punting situation here, and
is that Mather back in there, Jay?
Yeah, it looks like it is. And last time he tried to run the ball, it didn't work too well. And Abuda is very short, high kick. And it's going to spin toward the sideline. And Bryce Lovchick there really was in position to call for a fair catch, but he didn't. He wasn't the deep man, but it looked like that was one he should have made. And Lemma is hobbling a little bit as he heads toward the sideline. So
the one thing I noticed on that too, Jay, Mather was only 8 yards from the center when he called for the snap. That is not very deep in terms of punting the football. A lot of teams will be 14 yards deep. Some teams, especially if they're doing that soccer style or rugby style kick, they might go 10 or 11, but 8 is that's pretty shallow.
Football on the 38 now, 1st and 10.
We got Vetter. Yep, Vetter looks like he's back in there again for Providence.
Not sure what the delay is here, and I have to be honest, game after game you see this where everything is so slow putting the ball back into play. I don't understand. And off here going to Johnson, and he is brought down after about a 7 or 8 yard pickup on the left side here. We're under a minute to play now in this first half. Second carry right there for Johnson.
That gives, I'm sorry, Jay. That gives you some idea too about how effective the O-line is for Providence. I looked, and Highland Park had at least 8 guys in the box there, and they still picked up 8 or 9 yards on that.
Might be the last play of the half here as we're down under 20 seconds to go. Providence obviously in no hurry to try and put more points up. They'll run a play though, and Johnson takes the handoff here, and he is wrapped up. It will not be the last play. We have a flag. Imagine that. Going to be a personal foul against Providence.
Coach Rooney was barking at someone out there. Not sure it was the quarterback to get things rolling after this, or what was going on, or maybe the person that committed the foul. I'm not sure.
So 7 seconds left in this first half as they march him back. And now do restart, so no need to run another play here. We will.
Looks like victory formation maybe, or.
Yeah, we'll tick it down to zeros, and we reach halftime in this one. So Providence Academy jumping out to a 20-0 lead after one. They had a couple of touchdowns in the second quarter, and as we said, probably as expected based on the records, rolling here at halftime. Our halftime score here at Providence is the Lions 34, St. Paul Highland Park 0. We'll have first half highlights and much more for you coming up on CCX.
Local Vote 2018 focuses on the candidates that make key decisions close to home. As you decide how to vote for people who will represent you on your city council, on your school board, and in the state legislature, hear from the candidates themselves first. Whether it's a candidate statement on CCX News, local political forum, or election night coverage, you can find it all on CCX Media and ccxmedia.org.
Welcome back here. It is senior night at Providence Academy, and as Joe alluded to earlier in the game, some pretty good seniors in this group for the Providence squad, and their parents and players out there introducing them right now to the group. And we look at some first half highlights in this one, and obviously the majority of it is going to be Providence, but a nice kick return to start the game here for Kane Russell of Highland Park. It looked like he might possibly go all the way, but he was run down from behind there by Christian Davis. 65-yard return, but they turned it over on downs. And the handoff here, Jeff Ekior was very effective early here. Gets past the tackle before he is dragged out of bounds. First 2 carries went for a total of 51 yards. And we're seeing him right here, 31 and then a 20. as he had a very efficient first half. Max Anderson firing out in the flat. Nice catch by Cavan. He spins out of a tackle and gets in. That was the first TD of the game halfway through the first quarter. Made it 7-0. And then with pressure on him, Mather is hit. He throws, intercepted by Justin Mason. And that helps to set up another TD. It's Vecchio doing the honors as he runs over a tackler and falls into the end zone. And then Anderson, first play of the drive, throwing deep downfield. Christian Davis, nice throw, nice catch. And he's in for the touchdown, 49-yarder. Made it 20-0 after one. And Anderson coming back the other way, underthrows it, maybe intentionally a little bit. Cavan comes back to get it. And then he also just cuts it up hard and gets in for his second TD of the game. And the final touchdown of the half coming from the freshman Jacob Meisner, taking that handoff and following some great blocks and on in. Look at the stats, and it's not pretty for Highland Park. -3 rushing. Of course, keep in mind in high school, sacks count against that rushing total, so that's part of the reason. 24 total yards for them. Penalties have been an issue really for both teams, as we've had nearly 100 yards in penalties total in the game, and a couple of those turnovers led to points for Providence Academy. Got more football to come here in a moment as the seniors and their parents again honored for the Lions football program. We will be back with more of our live coverage of high school football in the Twin City District here on CCX Sports.
I've been delivering Meals on Wheels to Leon for 13 years.
It's always a pleasure to see you.
Leon has definitely inspired me to put more into my relationships. He really cared for his wife, who was ailing for quite a while, in such a touching way that inspired me to be a better person.
Drop off a warm meal and get more than you expect. Volunteer at americaletsdolunch.org.
America, let's do lunch.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
And welcome back. A cool evening, although not so bad. Not a lot of wind here, and you see at least one of the fans kind of trying to keep his hands warm right there. 34-0 Providence Academy leading Highland Park at halftime. And we've got some great athletes in a variety of sports beyond the football field, too, in the northwest suburbs this fall. And one of those is a great distance runner from a school just down the road at Wayzata. Emma Atkinson having a great season, a great career for the Wayzata cross-country team. They are ranked #1 in the state in Class AA. And our sports director, John Jacobson, had a chance to catch up with Emma Atkinson for a feature story on our Sports Jam show. And let's take a look at that story right now.
Cross-country running takes dedication and a commitment to improve. Emma Atkinson combines both of those qualities. As Wayzata's fastest runner on a team with several good racers, Emma is often the leader of the pack. But no, she doesn't do it alone.
Having your team behind you makes such a big difference because this is such a hard sport. It's so hard, you can't do it by yourself. So having a supportive team is super nice.
She works really hard. Definitely, she's always one of the last people out from practices. You can see she's working hard. She talks with the coaches, which is sometimes a little bit intimidating, but it definitely shows in her running.
Wayzata owns 4 state titles this decade and are ranked first not only in Minnesota, but also the nation. Trojans believe there is an expectation on their team each year.
There's a little bit of pressure, but we take it super well. We don't try to let it get to us or stress us out in any way. We're just trying to focus on the team we have this year and just know that we're not the same team as the year before or the year before that. We're our own team. So we try not to let it get to us too much and just do our thing.
We've had a target on our backs for a few years, and it definitely helps us to push a little bit harder and work harder, but it also gives us faster times, and it shows.
We feel like they're really coming together now. We really noticed early that they were great friends and just really We're a close-knit team. The top end was out in Colorado in July and had a great trip, and we just saw a real connectedness in the girls as far as the relationships. And we thought the work was really to be done in how do you race then with each other, and how do you work together to get better by pushing each other.
Atkinson began track and field in 6th grade, and last spring anchored Wayzata's 4x800 relay team to a 2nd place finish at state. Now in her 4th season of cross country, Emma remembers some of the lessons learned from older girls on the Wayzata team that she now tries to share with the team's youngest runners.
Working hard is definitely a big thing, and saying positive stuff while you're racing is probably the most important thing, because when you're out there, you're not going to be feeling good towards the end especially, and negative things will just push you down. So positive reinforcement is definitely something I try to pass on to my teammates who have also passed down to me.
Emma exudes balance, and we couldn't be happier having her as if you want to call it our #1 runner. She really teaches kids how to, dig in and commit to their sport, really train hard. But she has the rest of life figured out too. She's got a great social life. She balances her academics as an athlete, and she really has a lot of fun, and that's really nice to have leading your team.
Emma finished 3rd at last year's state cross-country meet as the Trojans took home another championship. The goals for next month, the post-high school season races that follow, are set high again.
So for our team, we want to win state. We think that'd be super fun, and going to NXR and regionals, we would like to advance to nationals. And then individually, it's kind of hard. I mean, podium at state would be really good. I'm gonna have to work super hard for that because there's some really good runners this year.
Thanks, John, and congrats, Emma, on a great season so far. The Lake Conference cross-country meet was supposed to be this past Thursday. It's been rescheduled. It's now going to be run on Monday out at Gale Woods. Both Wayzata teams heavy favorites to do well, if not win. Edina boys are awful good as well. 34-0 Providence, our score here over Highland Park. We'll be back with more here from Providence Academy in Plymouth in just a moment.
I'm Rudy Tempesta. I'm 92 years old. I fought in World War II. Then I came home, worked for the post office for 70 years. I've been getting Meals on Wheels, and I enjoy it. The most important thing about Meals on Wheels is you meet the people, which to me is fantastic. You need people to keep your brain moving. That's what life is about. It's love and having a conversation with people.
Hi, Meals on Wheels.
I'm Marco. I'm a college student, and I volunteer as a driver for Meals on Wheels.
I think it's awesome meeting these people. I mean, they're so interesting. They've had so many wonderful experiences in life. Your community helps to raise you up into the person that you become. Meals on Wheels is a great way to give back to that community.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. You're gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Go, okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool.
To
find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back here as we get set for second half action as the team's just getting out and starting to loosen up here for our third quarter of play. 34-0 our score at halftime. I'm Jay Wilcox along with Joe Basil as Providence Academy looking to move to 7-0 and looking very good to do so, obviously, with that margin. And the Lions, we said, found out just before the season that they are now in Class 4A, and they are at number 9 in the poll this week. And you see all the teams, there's still a lot of undefeated teams in that class. And the Holy Angels number 1, Winona, Hutchinson, some great longtime powers, and then some new kids that are showing up in the rankings a little bit too. And Providence, one of those teams that's looking pretty good. And we mentioned, though, in the pregame, they are in a quite a difficult section, Section 5, 4A, including, and this is the Qrf rankings, which, weigh strength of schedule and all that. You got SMB is in their section, Holy Angels. And, again, this is something separate from the rankings. This doesn't have anything to do with, how the state poll is. This is a Qrf formula. And, boy, there's some great teams in there. And even going down, like Coach Rooney was saying, going down as far as, maybe Orono might be looked at as number 6. That's a pretty good team that you'd have to get through, even if, and we could see SMB, Providence, and Holy Angels all wind up at 8-0 coming in. And so it's not a stretch to say that could very well be and probably is the toughest section in that class.
I believe so. Jeff Whelan does such a great job out there at Orono, and I'm sure he'll have his guys ready, tournament ready. And the one thing that stands out to me, Jay, is over the summer, I was fortunate enough to be at a summer camp where several teams were, and Holy Angels was at that camp. And Holy Angels had one returning starter from that championship team last year. And so Coach Gustafson, I believe, head man there, has done, and his staff have done a whale of a job, and they're 6-0 at this point. And instead of having to reload or whatever, they're right back in the, well, more than back in the mix. They're right there at the top.
Yeah, and a couple of years ago, Benilde out of that section winning their first state championship as well. So it's, every coach likes to talk about how loaded our section is, how tough our section is. But when Coach Rooney said it today, I think he was not exaggerating.
No, he was not. No, he was not. And, they have a tough one coming up next Wednesday that'll probably get them ready for the tournament too. So that'll be good.
Yeah, Fridley is a team that was playing a weak opponent tonight, so probably going to come into that game at 6-1 themselves, and they've got some athletes on that team, and that's where I think you really do, as we talked about a little bit, you really do want that challenge. Too many easy games just isn't a good thing for a team, because you can talk all you want about you need to, your footwork needs to be good and you need to execute and you need to do the right things, but when it comes too easy, those lessons don't sink in quite the same way, I don't think.
No, that's right. I can remember not all that many years ago when a Mankato West team that was maybe no better than 500 kind of caught fire at the end, played a tough schedule during the year, and ended up winning the state championship.
Yeah, they were playing in that Big 9 conference with a lot of bigger opponents, and yeah, you see that happen fairly often. I'm looking, even in other sports, Tino Grace, Class A boys soccer champion last year. They're playing in the conference with all AA schools, and it just gets them sharp and ready to go for the playoffs.
Sure.
This may be one of the larger kickers you're going to see here. Colin Duquette getting set to put his foot to it for the Highland Park Scots to begin our second half. 2 left-footed kickers, too. I can't recall the last time I've seen that. Fielded here on about the 18-yard line by Kevin. Up the middle he goes, and he is going to go the distance. Broke one jersey tackle, and that is it. He takes it the rest of the way for the touchdown.
He is gone. So
the Lions, if you're wondering if they were going to be content to sit back with that lead. Instead, he takes it the distance, 3rd touchdown of the night.
Yeah, Julian just kind of took that on maybe 1 or 2 hops, and the rest of it was history.
Sawtell on to attempt the extra point here for Providence. And he is able to boot it through for the extra point as we'll get another look at this one. And right about there, it looks like there's a lot of traffic, but then he just made a nice cut, and the one guy who reached for him, all he got was a little bit of jersey, and 82 yards later, Kevin is in for the touchdown as we get another look at it here.
Typically what happens on these, Jay, is the kicking team will get stacked up one behind the other, as opposed to the old classic stay in your lane, and that creates those openings, and he obviously took advantage of it.
A couple of his teammates knew at about midfield that he was probably going to go. They respect his speed, I think, as he ran through the kick coverage team without too much difficulty there. So Providence wasting no time getting started. 14 seconds into the second half, they get a touchdown, and that's somewhat important because of the fact that, you know, we're looking at potentially running time in this game, and at 34 it was not in that realm, and now at 41 it is, and not
right.
We're a ways away from that, you know, just yet, the 4th quarter, but I think you'd like to kind of get that margin secured so that you feel comfortable and confident putting all your second team guys in. Bouncing kickoff here, and returned out over the 35-yard line for the Scots by Ja'Kai Mason. So Highland Park late in the first half had taken Joe Mather out at quarterback. We'll see if he's back in to begin this half, or if they're going to go try and keep him out of there. Looks like Mather will be in at QB.
Looks like it is Mather. This is where you find out a lot about yourself too, right here if you're Highland Park. See if you can keep playing hard, even being down this much.
From the 36, he fakes the handoff. Mather will throw. It was tipped, but still caught. And bounced out of there is Schultz Perry, and then a flag comes in very late. Wonder if this might have been an illegal hit. Thinking this might be a personal foul.
Yeah, I wonder about that too, Jay. He just kind of stepped out of bounds there, but see on replay here.
And
I wonder if their
personal foul is against Providence, and
the forearm was up around the helmet area there. So
yeah, I think that's what they're calling. Yeah.
You know, Schultz Perry has a nice little hesitation move that he's used a couple times here tonight. That's got him in the clear. He's good little back that way.
From the 42, handoff goes to Russell, trying to cut it up, and he'll pick up about 4. It looked like they might swallow him up in the backfield, but they just didn't quite get there.
Right. One of the few times tonight, Jay, that Providence really didn't close the deal out here on the edge, and not sure if one of the linebackers said, "Okay, you take it, I got it," something like that. But he made a little money on that one, Russell.
So it'll be a 2nd down and 6 here for Highland Park. Had a nice drive late in the first half that ended in that interception, but they got, you know, maybe a little bit of confidence built, at least in terms of moving the football. Mather stepping up to avoid the rush. And then caught from behind at about the 30. Good persistence by Jack Healy to stay with him there, but still a good run. He'll have enough for the first down.
Yeah. That's what's nice about going empty, Jay. You know, they've got to at least cover you man for man out there, so you get a light box. And if he doesn't like the looks of it right away, just pull it down and take off. Mather's not a bad runner.
The first down now from the Lions 31.
Well, let's see. Do we have?
Yeah, Mather's splitting out to the left.
Yes.
Little wildcat look here now as Mensa. Looks like he'll receive the snap.
Oh, okay.
And Mensa will take off and run it here. Spun away from a tackle. Ball's loose though, and it looks like the Lions will have it. Providence second fumble recovery of the night. Jacob Gable diving on this one and sure-handed came up with it clean. Boy, it looked like the start of a nice run.
Sure did. Sure did. I liked it. I liked the play a lot. And
watch Mensa as he spins and then ripped out from behind. I believe it was Jaden Morton who, yeah, looks like Morton number 5. Yep, he brought it out. It was Meisner was wrapping him up around the waist. Morton punches it out. And Gable falls on it.
You preach and preach and preach in practice 2-a-days, even in the summer, about a running back holding the ball high and tight, especially in traffic. And Mason came and just did a great job of stripping it.
Morton there, yeah.
Or Morton, I'm sorry.
Vetter at quarterback here to begin the half, and this one's going to be a lateral, I think, as he throws it toward Jordan Loria, and it is going to go out of bounds for a big loss.
I think it definitely was a lateral, Jay. And Providence is fortunate that actually the ball did go out of bounds. And I think Highland Park knew it.
Boy, they're going to lose about 10 or 11 on the play. So second and long here for the Lions.
Providence back in I formation again, Jay.
Lacombe takes the handoff, bounces it to the edge, and brought down from behind there by Walker for the Scots. Well, we call him Providence all night, and that's the name they go by, but obviously very important. The contributions, you know, it's really, their football program says it very nicely on the front. 4 schools, 1 team. They're just Lions when they get here, but Providence, Heritage, Maranatha, and West Lutheran all a part of this. Now, Providence and Heritage have been together from the get-go, from the when this program started. Maranatha came in, and then West Lutheran just this year coming in. So they've added a couple of schools in the last couple of years, and that has resulted in moving up to Class 4A because you add the enrollments of those schools. Here is Lacombe cutting it up and wrapped up and brought down there by Walker, but enough for the first down there.
That's Dominic Lacombe, and such a hard runner. 3-year starter too, by the way, Jay, and an all-state sprinter on their track team as well. It's a guy like you'd like to have the ball in his hands.
So first down from the 40 of Providence now. Vetter handing it off to Johnson, and he'll pick up about 5. Tackle made by Ben Sesu for the Scots. But again, that O-line doing its work there. That's a play that, you know, there wasn't like there was a big hole, but they just moved him enough that he picked up a nice smooth 5. And when you can be 2nd and 5, that's the start of a good sequence for an offense.
Oh, it really is. And OC's offensive coordinators just love 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4.
Back to Lacombe. He runs partially through that tackle. It looks like he'll be stopped maybe just shy of the 50. That's where he needed to get for the first down. We'll see where they mark this. Boy, it's going to be awful close. He might have it.
Looks like Coach Rooney's strategy so far in this second half, Jay, is he's keeping his starting O-line in there and doing some subbing in the backfield.
Going to be 3rd and a yard. He was just short of that midfield stripe. So, and they've obviously had this situation in a lot of their games this year where they've had a big lead, so they kind of get a feel for what you want to do in this spot too. And this is going to be quarterback sneak, and Vetter will pick it up with ease as he gets about 3 or 4.
Yeah, that was quite a great push, helping the quarterback pick up that first down.
Joe, I feel like the quarterback sneak has now become so rare that it catches defenses off guard fairly often. You know, you're not seeing quarterbacks under center very often, and when they just get up and go, a lot of times defenses don't seem ready. It's like it's an unfamiliar thing to see.
Right, exactly. And particularly if you catch a defense in an even defense, Jay, you don't have anybody over the center to begin with.
1st and 10 now at the Highland Park 47. Vetter getting a chance to get some quality time in as the quarterback. Hand off to Lacombe, looking to bounce away, but pretty well defended. Mensa coming up and brings him down around the ankles with a little late assistance from Joe Conzit there, but about a yard gain or so that time for Lacombe.
Yeah, Lacombe looked like he was, trying to pick his way through there, but the Scots did a nice job of stuffing that one.
And I'll give Conzit a little bit of credit too. They wound up in kind of an awkward spot. He could have really cranked his neck there, but he didn't. And he didn't draw a penalty, and he didn't hurt the other guy on purpose or anything there, and he laid off when he realized he was down.
He did not, yeah. That was a nice job.
Lacombe takes this handoff, and he is stopped. Schultz Perry was first to him for Highland Park. He's done some really nice things on both sides of the ball for the Scots.
Yes, he has, and that time Providence went into that bunch trips. Before, early in the game with Vecchio, they went bunch trips, but they ran the ball the other way. This time they ran towards the bunch trips, but clearly didn't get much blocking out of those guys over there. Back in the eye here with, again, Jay.
We have 3rd and 9 now for Providence. Vetter is going to toss it back, sweep to Lacombe, cuts it back, trying to run through Mensa there. Ball came out late. I think he was already down. Oh, the Scots are saying they have the ball, but it looks as though the official is already marking it.
Looks like he has it marked, Jay.
So they'll be short of the first down, but they will keep the football. See when this one comes out. Lacombe trying to get all he could. Looks like, oh no, that's a close one. Mensa had his hand underneath it and was trying to rip it.
Yeah.
But as he hit the ground, they ruled that Lacombe still had enough possession to maintain it there. So it'll be 4th down and about 4 now for Providence. 4:45 to go and counting here in quarter number 3. See if Vetter will go to the air, if they'll just keep it on the ground here.
Uh-oh.
And he's, looks like going to be an illegal snap. Vetter just getting out of there. The ball was snapped and nobody else went, which would lead you to believe it was the center who probably had the wrong snap count there.
Vetter's going to plead his case.
Well, I think in some ways they're fortunate that it was a penalty rather than letting the defense have open run on him there.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you're right, Jay. Yeah, exactly. The ball came up. Ball came up. So let's see what they're going to do. Looks like they're going to walk it off against Providence, huh?
False start.
False start on the line.
Here comes the punt team, I believe, Jay. I'm going to punt it out of there.
Rarity tonight. There was one other punt. Davis is the punter. And again, Highland Park came hard after the previous one.
Yes, they did.
He got it out, but barely.
Russell's not very deep for
It's a low
Highland.
snap, and he does a nice job of getting the kick away. It's a high, short kick, and it will take a pretty good Providence bounce down inside the 20, and that is where Highland Park will get the football back around the 19-yard line or so. First down and 10 for 3:54 to go here in this third quarter.
You know, Russell was in actually a really good spot there. I don't know if that was through, you know, film scouting or whatever. He was in a great spot. And the kick, I believe he had a chance to catch it or make a fair catch, but he let it bounce. And then almost performed one of the cardinal sins by watching it bounce right toward him and not get out of there.
Mather still in there at quarterback here for the Scots as he rolls right. Some pressure is coming. Avoids it and then throws on the run and out of bounds. And there'll be a flag down. I think it's going to be perhaps a roughing the passer. It certainly came in that area that you might expect that. That's what we see.
All right, Jay. I think one of the few times, if not the first time tonight, that Highland Park actually did a classic sprint out from their formation, and Mather didn't like it and threw the ball out of bounds, but maybe someone hit.
Oh, they're going to pick the flag up.
Oh, okay.
I almost wonder, when they first began discussing it, almost looked as though they were thinking along the lines of intentional grounding, that there was no receiver anywhere near. So not a roughing the passer. I don't know, maybe that was what was going to be the call, but another official said that it was legit. So anyway, no flag. And they pick it up. So it'll just be a second down and 10 here.
Back in their empty formation again, Jay. This is the one where sometimes he'll do the quarterback draw.
Gonna go with a little reverse action to Russell. Cuts it up, and Morton brings him down. Still pretty well defended there, although they did gain positive yardage, and it'll bring up a 3rd and long.
That was an awfully nice hit by Morton, and not. I think they were depending on the double reverse action to maybe fool Providence, but I'm not sure that it fooled anyone over there.
3rd and 7 now. 3:15 to go in the third. Morton, one of those guys that's been a big factor for the Lions tonight and all season.
He's a striker, Jay. He will strike you.
Yeah, we could hear the pads pop up here on that one. Mather dropping to throw, now going to step up and runs into 3 Providence players. Healy was first to hit him, and you got some help there as well. Sawicki. And that one was more of a kind of a coverage deal, as Mather just had to turn and get out of there.
I think he did, yeah, I think he did. And Providence is starting to catch on a little bit in terms of him pulling the ball down and running it up the middle.
Mather is the punter as well. Again, not very deep. He's just going to try and kick that one. He didn't get much of it for sure, and it bounces into the Providence bench. Not sure what the strategy is behind that. Not giving him much room to really do anything.
I'm not sure either. I'm not sure if they don't have a long snapper that can, you know, get it back there, or what's going on. But
so it will be Lions football at the Highland Park 34-yard line.
Sure put your defense in a tough spot, I can tell you that. Vetter's back out there. Back in the I formation again, Jay.
Vetter will turn and give it to Meisner, Jacob Meisner. And nice gainer there on first down as he'll pick up about 7 or 8. Pretty good looking back for a 9th grader, right? I mean, he's about 185 pounds.
I'll say. I was looking at the O-line too, Jay. I think he might be starting to sub intermittently here a little bit on the O-line at this point in the game. We got 78 John Wick still in there. Know that. I'm not sure about.
Now let's see if most of the rest of the starters are still out there along the line.
Yeah, there's Heatley.
Handoff this time going to Ethan Montgomery, a sophomore back for Providence, and he will have enough for the first down.
Such a great time to give your young guys, you know, some PT and get them under Friday night lights. Great advantage, especially for the future.
First and 10 now at about the 23-yard line of Highland Park. Go with the toss out to Meisner. He cuts it back. Ooh, and then down he goes. Ridden down hard and barked at a little bit there. That's, I'm amused when somebody trash talks when you're getting beat by 41 points.
Yeah, it's probably not the time to do that. Definitely not the time to. I'm not a big fan of trash talking at any time, but yeah, just huddle up and play ball. Let your actions speak.
Second down and 9 here as we're under a half minute to go here in this third quarter.
Split back this time, Jay. Going to split back. Now they shift into the eye.
Gonna come back to Meisner here. Wrapped up down low. Mensah making a nice tackle there for Highland Park.
Struggling for every yard, you know, struggling for every yard. That's a mark of a good back.
It's going to be the end of the third quarter, so just that early kick return for Providence, but it does push the margin enough to be running time. 41-0 Lions after 3. The fourth quarter is up next.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
The first time I met Morris, the door flew open and I got this larger-than-life personality talking at the top of his lungs.
Hey, how you doing today?
Oh, man. Oh, I totally forgot. Hold on, let me get this for you. Oh. Just had a magnetic energy. So I thought, all right, we're definitely gonna be friends.
Drop off a warm meal and get more than you expect. Volunteer at americaletsdolunch.org.
America, let's do lunch.
One play.
And welcome back here to Providence Academy as we get a look at the undefeated Lions. Going to go to 7-0, it looks like here, as they're up 41-0 after 3 quarters. And again, they've got Fridley in week number 8. It should give them a pretty good test. Fridley figures to come into that game at 6-1. So third down here for Providence and about 6 as we begin the fourth quarter. Their backup QB Harrison Vetter in there. Rolling right, throws, and has the connection to Edwards. And Edwards will be down inside the 10 to about the 8 or 9 yard line.
Ran that play before, Jay. They like to boot, and then they kind of block with their tight end, 1001, maybe 1002, and kind of sneak him out in the flat. Vetter just dumps it to him for positive yardage.
So it'll be first down and goal to go at about the 9 yard line here for Providence.
At the Scott's 9 yard line.
That's the first pass we've seen from Vetter in a little while, I think, huh?
Yeah, now 1 for 2. Handoff up the middle. Whoa. And there's a physical tackle. Colin Duquette taking out some frustration right there as he dumps Montgomery.
Yeah, a little bit of a timing issue, bobbled the snap, but still, I don't think it would have mattered. Yeah, Duquette was right there, wasn't he? Big run stuff.
So 2nd and goal from the 9.
Camera one, viewfinder. Your audio slash traffic guy.
Handoff going to Meisner, trying to squeeze out of a tackle there as he was wrapped up low by Schultz Perry. And eventually Ash got him to the ground, but he does advance it inside the 5 to the 4-yard line.
Nice job of Meisner there, Jay, extending his hand down and keeping his balance for at least another yard and a half.
3rd down goal for the Lions.
So 3rd and goal here for Providence, and you know, they'd like to finish the drive with a touchdown, but I think they also like the fact that they're having to work for it, you know, a little methodical, just keep working that clock and
right,
execute these plays. 3rd down and goal. Delay a game, it looks like it's going to be against Providence. Well, it's a little too deliberate there.
Right, ran a little too much clock. And you know, O-line guys, for the most part, O-line guys love the work. They don't mind. They don't mind being in there. They just love to work.
It's interesting. I was just in my head thinking about praising Providence for the way that they slowed the tempo down because they want to work the clock and they want to, and they were doing it very well. And then the last time just took a little bit too much time.
Right. Yeah, if you're a quarterback, you got to keep your eye on that. That back judge will actually tell you when there's 5 seconds to go. But again, you know, Vetter with maybe not as much experience this year, he'll start bringing that guy into his sight lines.
Vetter going to throw it out under the flat. It is complete there to Jordan Loria, but he's wrapped up right away by Kane Russell. So it's going to leave them with 4th down and goal as he got, I guess, some of the yardage back there, but down to about the 8.
So it looks like we got a field goal attempt here, Jay.
Sawtell coming on to attempt it, and Vetter is the holder, yes.
Vetter's the holder. So
should be about a 29-yarder, it looks like, based on where they're setting up. Or excuse me, a 25-yarder. And this one is blocked. Highland Park's really been getting in on the rush.
I think it was Mensa. I think it was Mensa that time, Jay. He's the one that leapt through the, you know, jumped through the air. I'm not sure. Maybe we can see it on replay. I'm not sure. But I think Mensa was, yeah. And you're right. They've been kind of flirting with that the whole game. They're rushed from that side on special teams. I don't know from that angle if he got it or not. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it almost felt like that one didn't have a chance. They got a really good jump on the snap there too, almost to the point of being offside.
They did.
See, come in from, yeah, I think it is Mensa who did get
Mensa?
that one. Yeah,
got a hand on it.
Looked like he did.
Yeah.
So the Scots will have it on the 20. Mather looking deep downfield, and it is almost intercepted. Jacob Halleck had both hands on it, but the receiver got in there to help rip that one out. Still a good play by him. He wanted the pick, but
right.
See, he's got it for a moment, and then, oh, it just came out as it got to the ground. Good fight there by Carter Owens, too.
Yeah, I think Carter had to play a little defense himself right there and was able to get that ball out. And you know what? I don't mind the play call at all. I mean, particularly with the score, and why not? Why not try some vertical stuff?
They faked the toss. Now looking screen the other way, and Russell actually tripped over his own guy there, and so it's just going to fall as an incompletion.
Pass incomplete. Brings up 3rd and 10 for the Scots.
So 3rd down and 10, and obviously with this margin we do have running time, so even though those last 2 were incompletions, the clock does continue to spin at this point, which I don't think probably bothers either team at this juncture.
No, probably not. Well, we got kind of a triple stack formation by Highland here on the near side.
And I give it to Russell on a reverse action here. He's forced to cut it back and got some of the yardage back there to make it about a 4th and 10.
Yeah, he got a little bit of that back. I'm kind of scanning the Providence defense here a little bit, Jay. I still see Morton. Still see Morton out there in the middle. And not sure if all the starters are still in, but
Mather is the punter and gets this one out of there. And on a knee when he caught it was Lovechick, so it will be down right there at around the 45-yard line. Lovechick, a great baseball player, catcher, and the graphics you're seeing on our screen tonight being done by his high school baseball coach. Maranatha, who said part of the co-op here. So he had been a football player earlier and then hadn't been playing in recent years, from what I understand, and now coming back out this year.
I could tell by his expression that he's like, I can't believe I went to a knee to catch that ball. You can do that in baseball, right?
Right. Aiden Lampy, the sophomore, will become the 3rd quarterback now to take snaps here for Providence tonight. Handoff and big collision there as Montgomery got hit, and hit pretty good right away, right around the line of scrimmage. Lampy has played a little bit this year. You see 1 for 2 as a thrower. So, and again, they've obviously been in this spot and had some big leads in other games too. So I think it kind of worked out just the way you'd like it. In terms of that, you know, you use your #1 quarterback basically for the first half, Max Anderson, and actually late in the 2nd quarter, even Harrison Vetter, backup, came in. He got a good quality, you know, 1.5 in, and then you even get to work your young guy in to get him some time too, Lampy.
Yep.
Back to Montgomery, and he is stopped.
Vetter got to take him up and down the field a little bit. I think they threw the ball maybe 3-4 times with Vetter, so he got to do the bootleg, or maybe feel a little bit of the rush. Yeah, that's all good stuff for the young guys.
So 3rd and long now for Providence. We go with the toss back here to Caden Lacombe, and he is wrapped up, and he'll be stopped a little bit shy of the line of scrimmage, it looks like. He's a 9th grader getting a carry there for Providence.
You might suspect that's the coach's son, huh, Jay? Yep. Defensive coordinator.
And
Lacombe.
Yep, and Dominic Lacombe is senior.
Right.
So punting situation here as we approach 3 minutes remaining in the game.
Looks like the Scots have Russell deep.
Providence trying to make sure they've got the right number of players out there as Davis on to punt. Boots it high and short. Actually not even all that high, but out of bounds at about the 30-yard line.
Yeah, kind of shanked it off to the right there.
So Highland Park getting it back. Probably one last possession, you would think, for them.
Looks like Mather's coming back out, Jay.
The walking wounded out there playing a little bit. Malik Stagg, lineman there with a pretty heavy wrap on that hand.
I saw that.
Mather spinning away, now throwing, and it is caught. Wow, a flag down on the play as Lemma makes the catch. Defender took a try at it, but didn't quite get it.
Real nice focus by Lemma. I'm not sure if this is just PI, but they're going to give him the catch, or I'm not sure what's going on there. The flag came from the secondary, though, I think.
Yeah, it looks like it is going to be against Providence. Pass interference, and
yeah,
it seems as though they would probably decline it because the catch was good, but maybe not, depending on the yardage. Another look, but this is a very nice catch as it went right past McClung.
And that's a really tough thing for a receiver to do when you've got the hands of a D-back right in front of you. That takes some really good focus to. I mean, you drill that with receivers all the time, and there's where it really pays dividends.
Mather spinning out of there, throwing on the run, and too high as he went for Mensa, defended by Loria.
Should be 2nd and 10 here, I believe, Jay.
Yeah, after that incompletion they're at the 45 here as we're now down under a minute to go. Mather throwing it up deep down the sideline, and it is picked off by Davis. Davis working his way back upfield and then brought down near the 45-yard line. So Christian Davis getting in on the fun with the interception. Had a touchdown catch earlier.
Yeah, Mather just went, Mather went back and gunned it a little bit too far, and Davis was there to take care of it.
Good concentration here. There's the little brief juggle, but then brings it in. And he had eyes of trying to score there, but Mensa catching up to him. And they got the little turnover chain working. The Miami Hurricanes copy there. Looks like they're just going to take a knee here as Lempe will put it down one last time, and Providence Academy 7-0 as they took the early lead at 20-0 and coast to the 41-0 victory here tonight. And a lot of what we heard about them coming in, we saw on the field tonight. This is a good football team.
Very solid, very, very solid football team, top to bottom. It would be difficult, I think, Jay. There's a couple things we alluded to, but they're set up in good shape as we approach the last game and the postseason.
And Highland Park certainly a tough night for them, but they had some good individual efforts. They got some players who worked hard and did some good things for them as well. But a tough defeat for the Scots, and best of luck to them in their remaining regular season game. And it'll be Providence taking on a good Fridley team on Wednesday in the regular season finale, and then they step into that difficult postseason section. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's telecast here from Providence Academy. For Joe Basil and all of our crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. Once again, your final score is Providence Academy 41 and Highland Park 0.